The first thing I want to do with all of these wonderful students is share a personal story. I'm originally from Minneapolis. I've been with Kendall College and National Louis for about 9 years. I love teaching in the program. I love the students in this program. And when I moved to Chicago, I took a job working at a medical device company. And about a year after working for that company, something really significant happened to me. I received a commission check for about $25,000. So that was the most money I had ever seen at that point in my life. It was also the most unhappy day of my life. And so I just want to pass a message on for myself and the rest of the people in the business program, and I'm sure hospitality as well, that do something you care about. Do something that you're passionate about. So I just wanted to share that to say that it's not about the money. The goal of coming into any program, and the business program in particular, is to figure out how do you turn something that you're passionate about, I mean, something you truly care about, something you're into, something that works with your strengths, into a career. How do I make money doing that? And that's what we do in our program. Um, for those who used to drive, this story may feel a little interesting, and just stick with me on this. When things were open, when we would commute back and forth, I would find myself having this experience, and I'm sure Michelle and everybody else is going to relate to this. I would find myself driving, and I would go from my house all the way out to the National Louis University campus in Wheeling, and I would have no recollection of the drive. I mean, I can't remember anything on the drive that actually happened. And my question to all of my future students is, how is that possible? I mean, just for a second, bear with me, right? Think about all the things you're doing when you're driving a car. It's a 2-ton piece of heavy machinery. You got 2 pedals, maybe 3 if you're driving a stick. You got a transmission you're operating. You got a radio, steering wheel, right? That's just inside the car. What about outside the car? You got light signals, indicators, signs to follow. Not to mention all the crazy people who are driving in Chicago coming into your lane, right? And you don't remember that? How is that possible? Well, the answer to that question, because you can't answer it, is repetition, right? You've driven that route to work, to your friend's house, to your parents' house so many times that when you're doing it, you do it on autopilot. You don't even have to think. And the significance of repetition is that anyone who is great at anything has had to practice being great at it. And so in the business program, that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you the tools and the resources to practice, to get the repetition you need to solve problems in a different way. So you feel on autopilot. You're not even thinking about it. Okay. And what happens when you start to see that success, right? When you're Ronaldo in the World Cup and all the practice leads to you scoring a goal, a hat trick. That's when the confidence comes in. Okay. And so this is what allows you to become the solution to somebody's problem. Now, there's another thing that I want to discuss, and that is, I mean, there's school, but the point of school is to get a job. And one thing that we focus on in this program, just in a very significant and compelling way, is the class that I teach. I'm going to be honest. It's the class I teach. It's CAR 490, and it's all about you, the internship that you'll be working on at the time, and figuring out where you want to go. A lot of times people think, and stay with me because I'm not switching slides yet. I know I'm talking 4 minutes. Hang in there. A lot of times people think that when I'm looking for a job, really, because that's what this is all about. When I'm looking for a job, I should scan the horizon. I should look out there to see what jobs could I do. And that's not what you should be doing. What you first should do is look inside and say, who am I? What are my strengths? What are my skills? What have I learned in school? What do I enjoy? And then find the career or job that matches that passion or strength, okay? And that's what we're all about. Last but not least on this slide, I come from a family-owned business. We've owned multiple dealerships. I've started several businesses of my own. I've helped several of my students start businesses. If you're one of the crazy people who decides you want to be an entrepreneur, we definitely are the program for you. We can actually help you go from the idea where you start, right? Using some of those tools and resources, all the way to actually getting that business started. Okay, so welcome to the program, guys. Very excited. We can go to the next slide now, finally. So, I mean, there's a multitude of courses that you're going to be able to take, right? But let's talk about some highlights, right? If this was ESPN, what will we be showing? We have some amazing business simulations and gamification in our courses, one of which you are going to be working in a team and competing against other students in the class in a simulation where all of the results are public information. And it essentially turns into the NLU version of Hunger Games, right? The students are out for blood, and it is such an amazing learning experience because when you care about winning and you're working with a group of people, you're not only learning how to function and operate this simulation, but you're learning how to work with other people. And that's huge, right? Because you're going to have to do that when you become a professional, right? So we got great simulations and gamifications. Obviously, if you're on the entrepreneurial track, we're going to put you into what we call the community of practice, right? If you want to start a food business, we're going to put you with some food entrepreneurs, right? The cool part is NLU has so many resources, just in one building, right? I mean, if you have questions about a culinary business, a hospitality business, I mean, we got Deb Popley right here for you today, right? So, you can really leverage the full scale of NLU if you want to be an entrepreneur. But part of what we do in our courses is make you interact with all those different people in the community. If you're a marketer or you're an entrepreneur who's thinking about creating an idea, you're going to be in a class where you have an opportunity to literally create a new product, market that product. What is the marketing going to look like? Who are you going to sell it to? What customer segments, right? Give me detail. And last but certainly not least, there's a gentleman who's in the audience right now. His name's John Frank. He can't say anything, but I know he can see me. And he is our business chair in the Bye-Bye program. Great guy. He's my brother from another mother, for lack of terms. So he teaches a lot of our quantitative courses. And he is actually crazy enough to have included in his class that say with me, in an accounting class, your final exam is actually writing a rap or a song using accounting terms, okay? That is amazing. That is ESPN worthy. Okay, next slide. So you have, again, just a multitude of minors and, not necessarily concentrations, but minors to choose from, okay? Now, obviously, as far as concentration, leadership foundations, pretty straightforward. What I really want to dive deep into right now are look at all the minors, right? You got entrepreneurship, marketing, communications, computer science and information systems. And the cool part is you can take a class here and there. You don't only have to take the entrepreneurship track courses when you're in the entrepreneurship minor. You don't only have to take communications classes, right? And we also have a school of communications, right? So again, it's that scale of NLU that really plays well with the business program in particular, helping you figure out, navigate where you want to go in terms of, entrepreneurship, but I want a couple communications classes, or entrepreneurship and I'm developing an application, right? I'm developing an app. So I need that computer science and information course. I need to learn more about how actually to build an app and what kind of user interface am I going to create, right? Well, that's what you can do in all these different concentrations. And we've found that a majority of our students really enjoy these. The classes that they take as they go deeper, right, into that back half of their career, they really enjoy, getting deeper into their passion and what they enjoy. So remember that for the Q&A, if you have questions about the minors, remember entrepreneurship, marketing, communications, computer science, and information. Okay, next slide. Is there anything on here?
Ooh, we might be having some technical difficulties with this slide. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, we click in. So
There
I
we
know
go.
it's on the slide, so it's not a big deal, right? So again, you're gonna get a chance to interact with people in your community, right? Because one of the things that's so important about National Louis University is the community impact that they believe in having. I mean, in every aspect of this institution, you will find a concentration on involvement in the community. Well, we don't believe any differently in the business program. We want you, if you're an entrepreneur, to get out there. If you live in Pilsen, if I live in Inglewood, right? I used to live up in Lakeview, right? I've been all over Chicago. I've been in Wicker Park, right? But all those communities are really, really different. And some of the small businesses, particularly in this environment, right, that we're talking about, what's happening in, economically and in the country, right? We need to be able to focus on those small businessmen and women. Okay. So the other thing in terms of marketable skills, one thing that you would be able to say if you were a graduate of this program is, there's a difference between data and information, right? Data is raw, unrefined, just numbers, and information is saying, what does all that mean, Rob? Right? I got all this data, I got all this customer information, but what's that telling me? How does that influence how I make a decision? How does that help me figure out a strategy, right? Data and information, right? So you hear all the time people use the expression, analyze data, right? But what does that really mean, right? Like, break it down for me. Well, here's an example. When you're analyzing something, you're going to be looking for patterns, for trends, for outliers, right? And starting to connect the dots. Well, it's those skills in particular that people are looking for in the workplace, right? So we're talking about skills that help you solve problems for somebody else. And let me tell you something. And I'm sure Clarabelle's watching. I don't know if I can see her, but I can feel her presence. But that's what employers want. Managers are looking for somebody who is going to make life easier for them, who is going to be able to act autonomously, right? Professional communication, written and oral communication. And if I'm talking to you as a student in particular, a business degree is the most flexible degree in the world, right? You can literally go anywhere and do anything with a business degree. And if you think about what's happening with all the different industries, right now, just in Chicago, right? You want to be able to move and shift freely from industry, from job, from passion to passion. Okay, so, okay, I'm almost done, I promise. Next slide. Okay, so this is literally a video from my phone of a class a day ago, giving a presentation on management and leadership. What you're looking at, because I want you to understand what you're seeing, is two teams live on the Google Jamboard, and they're creating competing presentations by live adding Post-it notes, okay? Okay, go ahead and click it. Let's see if this will work.
Leaders would see the big picture, and they would encourage the team for their personal and professional growth. So I just feel like overall they see more of the big picture.
Okay, next one. So what I'm trying to do is to show you a little bit how we teach, right? Like, we're using right now, obviously we're all virtual. So this is a really engaging way for us to interact with students virtually. Next one, and then we'll play this one.
They are the leaders' right hand, and they're the ones who help the leaders with the little things and help aid the group or the organization to accomplish their.
Okay, so this is two teams basically having a live debate, one representing management, one representing leadership, and they're adding Post-it notes live, making points and presenting those points. It was an amazing day. And so I also wanted to, bring it down to the level of, like, right now, what's happening right now? How are we teaching right now? How are we delivering what we talked about in terms of the tools and the resources and the confidence and the problem solving, even through this virtual environment? So I wanted to just literally grab something from what I was doing earlier later last week, right? So that's an example for you of the tools, again, that we're using. So next slide. So, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a lot, you know, you can see a wide range of jobs that students who've graduated from our program have been able to get. And, you know, you see salaries all over the place, but what's most important for me to share with you, excuse me, during this slide is don't focus on the money. I know you see the money, you're like, oh my God, $134,000, that would change my life. But it's so important that it's in a career and a job that you want to be in and that you care about, because you're going to be a better employee, you're going to be a better professional, and you're ultimately going to have a better career. And, you know, the last piece and the back half of the program, everybody is going to get the exposure to, again, that 490 curriculum, where it's all about that launch point where you take off and you leave NLU and you go into the career that you want, and you're happy and able to feel fulfilled, you know, in what you're doing. So we care about our students, and we want them to not make the same mistakes maybe that we made in our lives. And I know when I was a student, I kind of did what everybody thought I should do, and I didn't give much consideration to what, you know, I was truly passionate about. And I ended up turning that around. But you all have the opportunity to not make that mistake. So again, I'm just encouraging you to take a look at the business program, also the hospitality program. They're fantastic. You can't really go wrong here at NLU. I'll be around for Q&A, and I hope to see you soon. So that's all I got.